Today we've got this busted iPad. This is an iPad 10. It's got a slight bend on both sides, and I'll probably fix this one as well, just kind of as a bonus. This is an older XS Max. It's got some cracks in the glass. Before we get going here, we'll roll out our heat mat and we'll turn it on and we'll let this start to heat up. While we wait, we might as well knock out this repair. Take out the pentalobe screws, grab a pry tool, go in from the bottom. Actually, let's turn this guy off first. One of the last phones where you can go in with a pry tool without much concern for the display. We'll go ahead and pry up this bottom of the screen and gently work our way up the side. You know the drill. Alright, then we can pop the screen back. I think I'm the first one in this phone. Now we can take out all the screws. And luckily they're all tri-wing on this model, including the screws on the proximity sensor assembly. Makes it really convenient. And we can pull out the bracket, disconnect the battery, disconnect the display, and gently disconnect the proximity sensor. And we'll set that aside. And we'll flip this guy over. Not yet quite warm, so we'll let that cook a little longer. And let's take out the screws for the proximity sensor assembly. And we can fold back the ear speaker. And then without poking the cable, we'll carefully disconnect the microphone and the proximity sensor. Get that pulled straight up, and the ambient sensor as well. Now we're finally getting somewhere with the temperature. We'll flip it on over, and we'll gently start to pry on the screen, see if we can get it to start wanting to come off. Now luckily this model has a separate digitizer from the display. Makes it a little easier, in my opinion, to work on, and definitely less risky. Now you've seen me use this 100 times before, but this is, if you're unaware, this plastic is the best thing for opening practically everything. It's the OCA protector plastic sheet. It's just thin enough and rigid enough to act like the edge of a razor blade without cutting anything important, pretty much. And it slices through adhesive like butter. I think I'm also the first in this iPad. We'll see. You can get right under those shards that are otherwise stubborn and slice through them so you don't have to pry at them and shatter them with the pry tool. Here's a perfect example on the corner. These shards that want to be held down, just slide it right under. It folds under those shards, gets right into the adhesive, slides around, super smooth. Let me know in the comments below what tips and tricks you have for simplifying removing the glass, as we all know that can be a pain sometimes. Now we can set it down and let that side warm up as we let the digitizer slowly start to fall towards the heat mat. It's like one of the sections of glass stayed behind. I'm just gonna pry that up real quick. And I guess it just came out. All right, from here we can turn off the heat mat and set it aside. Now we need to remove the screws. These are Torx screws. I believe this was the first iPad that came out with Torx screws for anything on the inside. And then we'll take out the other screws on the other side. Now we'll carefully lift up the display, make sure it detaches from the silicone on the other side, and then it'll fold up this direction. And then we'll disconnect the display and digitizer and the microphone assembly. Now we can disconnect the digitizer, the microphone, and the display. I like to take the plastic now, get under all of the glass, and slice through any remaining adhesive. And we're going to be careful with that little grounding sticker. Don't want to tear it. And that way we can get the digitizer disconnected, and we'll remove that component in a second. But for now, let's clean up the last bit of remaining adhesive and glass shards. Now is the perfect opportunity to try to work out that bend. Looks like it's a fairly gradual bend. Give it a little bit of a pressure, and that is already a ton straighter. And we'll do the same on the other side. See if we can't work out that bend as well. As close as I think it's gonna get. Now here's one of the methods I like to use, a chisel blade, to just go and remove the bulk of the adhesive residue and dust and debris. What methods do you like to use? I'm going to come back in with some acetone and a clean room wipe and really get the edge frame polished up, free of all of the old adhesive. And in the meantime, get out a new screen for the XS Max. And all of the original adhesive is still really good and it's left behind. And in my opinion, it's better than the blue one. None of it came up. It's all perfectly still there all the way around. So I'm just going to reuse that adhesive. We'll go and take the proximity sensor assembly, and we'll push everything in and on down. Put the ear speaker back, and we'll put back the 3 screws as this phone's ready for the new screen. All right, we'll gently connect up the proximity sensor, the display, and the digitizer. Now the battery. Put back the brackets and put back the screws. And now we can gently make sure all the cables are folding properly. Install the screen. Push everything down. We'll go ahead and turn it on and test it. There we get our Apple logo. Put back the panel lobe screws, and we've got touch. Tighten those down, and this phone is fixed. Let's go finish up the iPad. Go around the border and really get rid of all of the dust and grime and old adhesive. I want to give the iPad 0 reason to have the new adhesive not stick. And you'd be surprised what comes off of it, even though it already looks really clean. And that way we end up with a sparkling clean frame. Let's grab our digitizer. All right, so we've got our new digitizer. And one thing I want to make sure is that it has the magnets, which it does. Now I just need to carefully pop off the little plastic frame here without the glasses of shards hurting my new digitizer. I mean, shards of glass. I get my tweezers under it and give it a little bit of tension. And I'm just going to pop away that shard, and we'll pull the rest gently away and gently pull at the grounding sticker. Now we'll go ahead and line it on up, stick it on down, and I'll lay out the little sticker, and let's prep this digitizer for install. All right, we'll go ahead and connect up the digitizers. Now at this point you could also remove the battery screw, but I've had pretty much no issues whatsoever with this model. I'll go ahead and install this bracket and those screws, as well as this one. And we'll grab the display. Got some dust on it that we'll address before we close it up. And this is really where you'd have to be concerned if you had the battery still connected, is if you don't end up connecting the display perfectly. That's where you're going to run into issues. But if you get it first go without sliding the connector around, then you have pretty much no issues from my experience. Go ahead and put back the bracket and put back the remaining 2 screws. We'll gently lay the display inside the frame. I want to see, it's a dead iPad, but I want to see if the display still works. So we'll go ahead and attempt to power it on. And we've got backlight, so we didn't mess anything up, but it still needs to charge. Now we can put back the 10 screws that hold down the display. And once those are back in, then we're going to take our attention to cleaning up the dust. Now for whatever reason, I can't find my little air. So I've got a lint-free rag here. It's getting rid of all of the dust, not leaving anything behind, which is nice. This is brand new, otherwise I would not be using it. Just took it out of the bag. No dust left on there. There's a little bit of marks from the glass having broke. They're very faint. So now, peel up the protector for the inside of the digitizer. And we'll set that on down for a second so we can peel the adhesive tabs, adhesive protectors. And we'll pull those off all of the way around the device. And then this iPad is going to be ready to close up. Just got to line up the corners nicely. Make sure things start to sit in there nice and flat. Make sure the digitizer cables aren't getting pinched at all. And then we'll compress it on down. And this iPad, although it needs to be charged, and you could clamp it up as well if you wanted to give it extra pressure, but given how clean it was, a nice thumb massage is all it should take to really get that on there nicely. While we let that iPad charge up, let's go ahead and install Casper Pro. You gotta love these screen protectors. All right, let's see how static this gets when I pull it off. De-static. Let's go ahead and wipe it on down. Go ahead and get rid of some of the dust. There we go. All of the dust that just you can see. And let's go ahead and install this. And that's all done. Looking as good as can be. Now a kid's gonna be happy for Christmas to get an upgrade on their phone. All right, we gave the iPad a couple minutes to charge up, enough to test it. Everything looks good. Let's get out our Casper Pro for the iPad We'll pull that on out, as this iPad deserves to be protected as well. Go ahead and peel off the protector for the digitizer. It looks pretty much dust-free. Yep, dust-free. Go ahead and peel the protector for the Casper, and we'll put the protector on. We'll let all the bubbles go out. And let's see if it missed anything. Looks good except for something in this corner. There, it's gone. And now a kid's gonna be happy to get a Christmas present too.